All right. Okay, so first of all, please scan for your attendance. Again, after last week class, we still have a number of students WhatsApp or email us about attendance. As I mentioned earlier, attendance is your own responsibility. After you scan the QR code or after you go to e-learning portal, please double check your attendance have been recorded. All right. So for the group that have not complete the paper title, please complete it by today. After today, 9 o'clock, we will close the group registration. We will close for the paper title registration. So the group that have not filled out, please do it immediately. We will close the registration by 9 o'clock. All right. Okay, so for today, we are going to start our chapter 2, Data Analytic Life Cycle. So for those new students who just joined us, as I mentioned, all the material are available in e-learning portal and the ODL platform. So if you still don't know how to get it, log into your e-learning portal. Let me share my e-learning one more time. This will be the last time I share. I share it because students still keep asking me where to get the material. For those who cannot join the join the e-learning or ODL, please ask your group member to help you. Okay, ask your group member, download and share it with you. So when you enter to e-learning portal, you go to this week chapter. So this week is chapter 2. Click on the chapter 2. Okay. This first slide there is the full slide for chapter 2. Full slide means is used for video 1 until video 5 here. We record every subchapter. Every subchapter, we already recorded there for you to watch it before the class. So 6 to 7 o'clock, you are supposed to watch the video here. And then this is the slide that I'm going to use for the summary now. Okay, and later on after the class, I will share the WebEx recording there. All right, so this is where you get your material, the chapter 2 summary. Okay, so let me start back my sharing. Okay, also a gentle reminder before I start this class, later on you will have your quiz 1, which contains 5%, 5 mark out of 100 mark for this course. And this quiz 1 is a group work. So group work, all the member you can contribute or you can decide who are going to answer, who are going to look for the answer and so on. We will choose the highest mark and all the group members will get the mark. For example, let's say if you have 8 members, so the highest you get is 5 mark. Let's say member number 7 get the 5 mark, then the whole group will get the 5 mark. So make sure one student, only one device connected to stable internet. So don't tell us later that, oh, my internet is not okay, my internet problem. So you need to make sure you get a better internet. Sign up the plan now, get a 1 hour internet plan that is stable so that you can answer. Okay, so let us start with data analytic life cycle. Okay, this chapter, basically you only need to know 2 main things. If you observe here, you only have 2 main objectives. The first is you need to know what are the 7 key roles needed in a team for a successful analytic project. Meaning when you want to run a business analytic project or data analytic project, who are the 7 roles that you need to have inside the team? So these include the first one, the business user. Okay, so when I go through, it is better that you follow and you try to remember. The second one is the project sponsor. So sponsor, from the term itself, you know this is about the money and cent. Okay, I will go through one by one later in the next slide. The third one is the project manager. So manager is the leader in this team, the lead, okay, the analytic lead, LEAD, the leader in this team. And number 4, the 4th role is the business intelligence analyst, or we call it as BI analyst. So this person will in charge about the dashboard, okay, will in charge about the KPI reporting. So you see this dashboard here, right? The chart there. So it is for dashboard and the KPI reporting. And person number 5 is the database administrator. We also use the abbreviation DBA, stand for data, sorry, B is here, database administrator. Let me make it a bit bigger. Oh, I cannot adjust. If I adjust, then all this will run. So you can zoom in your WebEx there at the center there. You will see the percentage is 100% now. If it's too small for you, you can change the percentage, increase the percentage to 150 or 200 so that you can see the text clearly. Okay. And the role number 6 is data engineer. Okay, you see here, data engineer. So what is this? This is the database. Remember, last week I talked about data, okay, and then your database and also your worksheet thing. So this is what is in charge by the database administrator, the DBA. Okay. So security level is also in charge by this data engineer. When you have your data, you need someone like a guard to take care of the things. So this is the security take care by the data engineer. And last but not least, data scientist. So last week you have seen the differences between the master of data science and the master of business analytics. So master of data science, basically they are training the data scientists. So data scientists will involve or in charge on the modeling, the advanced data modeling. All right, so these are the 7 roles. I will go through one by one in detail later. Okay, so first objective, you need to know what are the 7 key roles in a data analytic or business analytic project team. The second objective, you have to know the 6 phases of the data analytic life cycle. So it starts from discovery. Okay, so discovery, what type of project that you are going to complete? What type of projects team members? Who are the team members in your project? What are the resources that you have in order to do or conduct the project or run the project? Second is data prep. Data prep here means data preparation. Okay, prep means preparation. You can use the short form prep or you can write out the full term data preparation. So data preparation is like when you learn your machine learning, you have your data cleaning, data transformation, data normalizing. So all these are considered data preparation. You find out whether you have missing data or not, and so on. Okay. And number 3, the third phase is model planning. You plan what type of model you want to build, whether you want a supervised machine learning or you want a unsupervised machine learning models, and so on. So this is the stage you try to plan what are the model you want to build. And phase number 4, you start to build your model. So you have your training data, you have your test data, you have your validation data, and you start to build your model. So this stage, you build your model and you want to know which model is considered as the optimal optimization. So optimal model. Okay, remember last week I talked about optimization. Okay, depend you want to make it maximum or you want to make it minimum. Last week, I give you the example. If it is profit and revenue, you tell me that you want to maximize it. If it's a defect or failure, you told me that you are supposed to minimize it. So this maximization and minimization is your optimization, and it is during the model building stage. Okay. And then, of course, number 5, after you build your model, you need to communicate your result. Communicate with who? With your boss, with your client. So this is the stage you communicate your result to your boss or to your client and others relevant person. Okay. And last but not least, the 6th phase, we talk about operationalize it. You operationalize your project, and of course, you need to do some monitoring, you need to do some control, and so on. So this is during your phase number 6. So the entire chapter, you just need to know these 2 things, and they are quite important part in the business analytic project. Okay, so now let us go through one by one. Let me move on. Okay, so each of these roles, they play a critical part in a successful analytic project. We need this talent. When we want to make sure our analytic project successful, we need this talent. Now my question, is that mean every business analytic project, if you want to success, you must have all the 7 roles? If I only have 6 roles, can I make a successful analytic project? So let me rephrase my question. In every project, is it necessary for me to have all the 7 roles? Then only I can success. Necessary mean you say yes. Not necessary mean you answer no. So let me know your answer in the chat box. Okay. Majority say no. A few students say yes. I think Yao Xiang give a very good explanation. No, depending on the skill and the nature of the project. Very good answer from Yao Xiang. So let's give him or her a round of applause. Very good. Very good answer. It depending on how big is your project. If your project is just a very small scale project, you don't need all the 7 rows. Okay. If your project is a very big scale project, then yes, you need to have as many as possible. Okay. And it is also depending on the nature of the project. So what type of project you are running? Is it related to environmental? Is it related to ESG project and so on? So it depends. Not necessary you must have all the 7 in order to have a successful project. All right. Okay. Now let's look at the first row. So we start from here, business user. So business user, the main role is to understand the domain. So he or she will be the domain expert. Remember last week I did mention, if you have the data scientist, we have 3 elements, right? Business analytic, you have the 3 circle. I hope you still remember what we discussed last week. We have the 3 circle. One is the mathematic or the statistic. Okay. Another one is the computer science or information technology. And one of these is the business or management. So imagine, if you only have this computer science, IT, the data scientists, they build a very advanced machine learning model. They do deep learning. Okay, deep learning, they build a complicated model. But nobody know how to interpret it in terms of the business perspective. Then you are not fully utilizing the model. That's why you need the business domain expert, the management domain expert. They can make sense. What is the meaning of the models that you build? Okay, so these people are the domain expert. And these are the people who benefit from the result. Okay, so after you build the models, they will know this model can give me optimal income. this model can give me a very high revenue. So they will benefit from the result. And they will advise the team on the context and the operationalized value. So they will be the one know what are the good things, what are the advantage, what are the positive value that bring to the project. So these people, they could be the business analyst, they could be the line manager, they could be the subject matter expert that I mentioned just now. Okay, so they know about the business, not just the technical part. All right. And the second role in the project is the project sponsor. So as I say, this person will be the dollar and cent. This person will contribute, will provide the funding. And of course, when he or she gives the money, he or she must know the value, the return of investment. ROI is one of the value, return of the investment. So this project sponsor will provide the incentive, mean give the money, and also what are the expectation, the requirement. So if I give you money, I say I want to reduce the defect by 30%. So this, let's say I give you RM, okay, 200K for this small project. So this small 200K is my incentive, and my requirement is I want to reduce 30% of the failure. Okay, I want to reduce 30% of the failure. So this is the requirement, reduce 30% of the failure. So this is contributed by the project sponsor. And the project sponsor will define what is the core business problem. So the problem statement often come from the project sponsor. There are so many problems in their business. This person need to identify which one is the most critical problem. That's why he will set the priority. He or she will set the priority. So problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 3. Problem number 1 is the most critical. We must solve this problem first and clarify the desired output. So when I say I want to reduce 30% of the failure, so that is what my desired output. I can hear some noise there, huh? Let me mute. Okay, we have 500 over people here, so please mute yourself. Otherwise, people can hear what you say. Right. So we have already talked about 2 roles. First is the business user. Most of the time is the business analyst, line manager, subject matter expert. Number 2 is the project sponsor. The money comes from the project sponsor. The requirement comes from the project sponsor. Now let us move to the third role. The third role is the project manager. As I told you just now, this is the project leader. The manager is the project leader. He leads the project. So he have to ensure key milestone and objective. Milestone means when you should complete the first part of the project, when you must complete the second part of the project. Let's say if you are given 3 months, okay, 3 months to complete the project. So during the first 2 weeks, what you must achieve. After 1 month, what you must achieve. Okay, so this milestone and objective, it comes from the project manager. So he or she must make sure this milestone and this objective are met on time and with good quality. Meaning, what does it mean by good quality? Meaning not just complete on time, but you also make sure you don't exceed the budget given to you. So he or she need to control the time, need to control the cost. Do not overspend. And the next role, number 4, is the business intelligence analyst. So this is also often called as a BI analyst, not bahasa English, business intelligence analyst. So this person will build the dashboard. From the dashboard, we can see the KPI information. KPI stands for the key performance index. Okay, the key performance index. For example, like you are student, when you attend your courses, your KPI is to achieve good CGPA. So the CGPA is your KPI. Okay, and the key metric will display on the dashboard or reported in the report. And of course, the business intelligence information. So this business or BI analyst, he or she will create the dashboard, will also make sure do the reporting, and the reporting must be an easy to understand report. Especially when you build the dashboard, you must make sure this GUI, the graphical user interface, is user-friendly. Something that when people look at it, people can understand it immediately. No need you to stand there and tell them, oh, this is how you should read this graph. This is how you should see this graph. No need. It should be able to see it and immediately can understand it. Okay, and the role number 5 is the data administrator. So data administrator will set up the database for the analytic needs. Okay, so the team will need a database to keep all the information and to run the project. So this fellow will set up the database, and he or she will provide the access to the key database. That's why just now I say he or she is like a guide. Okay, ensure the proper security level. For example, if your project have a part that is involved for the finance or account information, you need to make sure that not every members in the project can access to this information. Only a certain person who in charge for the finance and account can access to the finance and account information, because this is like the top secret of the company, the dollar and cent thing. So ensure the proper security levels. Okay, so when we come until this stage, you can see we already altogether there are 7 rows. Now we are only reached number 5. You will notice that some of the row, they may have overlapping in the job. So it is not necessary that I am the business analyst, I only can build dashboard. Sometimes the business analyst will also help to build the model. So it depends on the team. If you are a small company or a small project, usually one person will need to play a few roles. If you are a very big company, you are running big project, then the role will be more specific. So please bear in mind, it is possible to have overlapping in their job role or their job scope. Okay, now let's look at number 6, data engineer. Data engineer, most of the time, they are from the computer science or the IT background. Okay, they are not from our management. Like business analyst, and business, after you complete your business analytic, you most of the time you become business analyst. You don't become data engineer unless you yourself take up more, sign up more courses, learn about SQL, learn about some other things that is related to data engineer. Okay, so use the technical skill. You can see this data engineer heavily depend on the technical skill. You have to know how to optimize the SQL. SQL means the structured query language. How to optimize the SQL queries. So what is this? Is that mean programming? It is not programming, it is not coding. SQL is for something like, for example, you use some simple keywords like delete. Okay, if you use the function or keywords like delete, this is one of the query. Okay, delete. So this is also SQL keywords, or maybe you use like update. So this type of simple thing is not really coding, it's not really programming. This is like when you use your Excel, you have some function, right? So this SQL is similar to that. Okay, or maybe you use like select or insert. So all these are query in the SQL. Okay, and then this data engineer support the data ingestion into the analytics sandbox. So this word is very, very popular in data analytic or business analytic project. So I want you to tell me, what is this analytics sandbox? Okay, can you scan this QR code? Scan this QR code. It will bring you to, let me put down the link first. Those who cannot scan, let me try to find the link. Those who can scan, you scan and you answer. No need long answer. I don't need you to show the long answer. Just give me a short keywords. One keyword is also sufficient. Okay, what do you understand about analytics sandbox? Okay, let's see. So go to the palette after you scan this. Let me put the link in the chat box. Okay, there are many pages there, not necessary to answer in the first slide. You look at the bottom part, there are 6 slides there. I notice all of you answer in the first slide, later you don't have enough place. You can go at the bottom there, you can click on the second bar, the third bar, until the 6th bar. Okay, give me one keyword per person is enough. Hello, there is one person write a very big word there. You are blocking other people. Please reduce your font size so that other people can write. Okay, so last week, very good. We have about 300 participants to answer in the ballot. Let's see this week, how many of you trying to answer? Okay, once you successfully scan or click, I will move to the ballot so that you can see your friend answer. Sorry. Let's try to participate, otherwise you will not learn and you will feel boring if you don't try to participate. Okay, so let's see what do we have here. So I go to the, okay. You see here at the bottom here, you can click the 3rd slide, 4th slide, 5th, and also number 6. Okay. Majority answer here. Don't simply draw something there. You are blocking other people to answer. Please try to move to the 2nd slide, 3rd slide, 4th slide. There are so many places there. I will start from the last one. So some of you say I think you are trying to say experiment here. Very good. It is an experiment. Okay, one of you say here it is a workspace. Very good. Perfect answer. Okay, it used to explore explore the data. Okay, explore the data. Very good. Yes, it can be considered as a laboratory for data. Okay, and database probably not really a keywords, but it is related to the application of the database. Okay, so let me see what about here. Yes, it is an environment for us to do the testing. So testing, yes, this is one of the good keyword. What about this page? Okay, it is a testing environment. Perfect answer. Isolate, yes, it is an isolated environment for us to do the testing. This is also a good answer. Like experience test, WO interface, live production database, not really to the point. Safe environment for analysis. Okay, correct. it is a safe environment because you will not interrupt the actual database environment. So it is a safe environment for you to do the testing. Okay, let me see. It imitates simulation environment, correct? It is a simulation environment. You can play around with it. You can, for example, if you increase certain material, what will happen? If you increase certain resources or you reduce certain resources, what will happen? So you can do some simulation there. Okay, workplace, correct? Library, not really. Test the hypothesis, not really the main keyword. Workspace and exploration, yes. Initial model, not really. Data warehouse, not really. Testing environment, yes. Yes, teamwork. Teamwork in this environment, all the team members can enter to the testing environment. So you can perform your teamwork to run the analysis inside the environment. So teamwork, yes. Balance that data, I think this is data. Balance data utilization workspace. Our workspace is the keyword. This is not really. I cannot read the rest, overlapping. Okay, isolate test area or isolate test environment, correct? A place to analyze the data without affecting the real data on the database. This is very important. Imagine if everyone is running the testing on the real production, on the real database, then it will mess up the database. It may accidentally delete some of the important information in the database. So this testing environment is very important because it will not affect the real data on the database. Okay, cannot see what is this word. An independent test environment, correct? Workspace. So the main keyword is workspace. The first important keyword is workspace. I can see many of you put workspace. A safe workspace for exploring data, correct? A workspace environment, correct? A testing environment, correct? Okay. The first page, too many things already. Hello, you are not kids, Please be professional. You are not kids. Don't do this kind of thing. Okay, this kind of thing is not a matured adult thinking. Okay, we are learning. You should be professional learner. So I'm not going to discuss this part. Okay, very good. So I can see from here, there are, of course, there are more than 100 students trying to answer here. Very good trial. So at least you are trying to answer, you are trying to participate, which is a very positive learning attitude. Okay, so give yourself a round of applause, especially those who answer correctly. Workspace, isolated test environment, and it gives the data analyst a protected, a safe, a shared environment. So the team can do the analysis inside the environment. The model can be built, the model can be experiment using the simulation conducted without harm, without disturb the actual database application. So imagine this is like a sandbox. Okay, you put the sand inside, then everyone is trying to build the castle, build the build a house, and so on there. All right. Okay, so come back to here. So this data engineer will support the data ingestion into the analytic sense block. Data ingestion means, okay, this term, data ingestion, it means you're trying to compilation of the data for the usage. So what type of data is needed? This data engineer will compile them into the sandbox. Then the other team members can start to use the sandbox to do the analytic. Okay, so he or she will handle the data extraction. So you have to tell him what type of data is needed. For example, the HR data from the company. For example, the finance data from the company. Then this person, the data engineer, will trying to extract and compile into the analytics dashboard. And he or she will perform data manipulation, okay, for the analytics. So this term also you see it quite often, data manipulation. So what does it mean? Meaning he or she will change the data to make it more readable. So for example, he will filter out those unnecessary, and then he will sort it. For example, let's say this is a name list. He will sort it from A to Z so that it's easier for you to use the information, read the information. Or he or she can put the information into a pivot tables and so on, so that it is readable for the user. Okay. And last but not least, we have our data scientists. Data scientists offer their expertise in the analytic technique. You can see these two persons, they are considered technical person. They need the technical skill. They offer their expertise in the analytic technique, such as the data modeling and applying them to the business problem. So data scientists will be the one that build the machine learning algorithm. So later on, you will learn how to use Python, okay? Sorry, P-Y-T-H-O-N. You will use how to use the Python to build the machine learning model. So these data scientists are the ones that very frequently use the programming to build the machine learning model. So he or she will turn the unstructured data, okay? Unstructured data means the data is still not well organized, into a semi-structured or into a structured data. Okay, into semi-structured or structured data. So just now, when everyone simply just put out their information, when you answer me in the ballot, so some of you use the drawing, some of you use the text, some of you put out some number there. So they are very unstructured. So the data scientists will make them more in a more structured way, or in a semi-structured way, or in a structured way. So for example, you put the information into column and row. For example, the name of the student start from alphabet A until Z. The index number of the student start from 001 until 0, for example, 99. Okay, so you arrange in column and row like this, meaning it is in a structured data format. Okay, so this person will do the modeling. This person have the technical skill. All right, so let me recap. These are the 7 key roles for a successful analytic project. Business user is the number 1. Most of the time, he or she is the business analyst. Line manager. The top are the subject matter expert. Okay, he or she understand the business domain. The second one is the project sponsor. Okay, you need to know the exam usually asks you to do comparison. Okay, comparison. So you need to know their role so that you can do the comparison. And I will advise you, when you do the comparison, draw a table. For example, let's say I ask you to compare the project sponsor with the data scientist. Then you do row by row comparison. So project sponsor will be the one that contribute the money. And then what about data scientists? Data scientists will be the one who do the analytic application. So you put out like this, okay? So in a table format, you put out row by row comparison. And then no need to write essay, no need to write long sentence. Just a short sentence will do. Put it in a short and precise sentence. That is a way to answer the exam question. Okay. So project sponsor is the one that contribute the money, will be the one who define what are the problems want to solve and what is the desired output. Project manager is like the leader for the whole team. So he or she need to control the time, need to control the cost, the money that is spent. So the milestone, okay, the milestone and the objective in charge by the project manager. BI analyst in charge for the dashboard. So the key performance index, KPI, the reporting, what type of chart to be plot, okay, what type of graph to be shared with the customer, the client, the boss, he or she will be the one that in charge. Okay, so this person, very often they will use Tableau software or Power BI. So I asked you last week, I told you about the Power BI open course, right? So this is for the business intelligence analyst. Okay, and number 4, the DBA, database administrator. So this person is the one that configure the database environment. So just now, when I talk about the security level, he or she will be the one that take care of the security level of the database. Data engineer, the role number 6. Okay, data engineer will be the ones that do the technical work. Okay, so he or she very often has the SQL skill, know how to do the structured query language. Okay, so this person is the one that prepare the analytics sandbox. Just now we talked about the analytics sandbox, right? So this person will be the one that prepare the analytics sandbox for you to have a safe environment to do the testing. It will not affect the real environment. And last but not least, the data scientist who heavily run the modeling, perform the machine learning modeling for the project, and so on. Okay, so I hope you are clear about the 7 key roles for a successful analytic project. Any questions so far? Let me open my chat box. If you have questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box. If everything is clear, can you just give me a smiling face or thumbs up? Okay. Do these 7 roles need to be followed in order or they can be done in any sequence? Muhammad Fidas, any sequence. No need to be in sequence. Okay, there is no orders that you must start from business user, you must stop at data scientist. No. Okay, not necessary. Good question. Let me see what else. Okay, the rest very positive response. I can see thumbs up and smiling face. Very good. All right, let us continue to the second part. I can see some more questions. Just give me a second. Okay, why do I need a business user if I have a project manager? So then the project manager have the needed experience. Okay, as I told you, it depends whether your project is a big project or it is a small scale project. If it's a small scale project, most of the time the project manager can also know the project requirement and so on. So the project manager can play the business user role at the same time. But if it's a very big project, then it is better to have all these 7 roles to entrust the specific role. Okay, so it is not necessary to have all the 7. Okay, can we say the sandbox provide informal version of the database? Yes, it is a testing environment. It is a testing database. Okay, so good question. Another one, does business user are required when doing the testing? user acceptance test before the operationalize. Of course, it's better to have them because they can give you some feedback. Okay, because they understand the domain, you know, and they can make sense of the data. Let's say after you build a model, you doesn't know that you don't understand how to interpret the model, then this person will step in and explain to you whether the model makes sense or not. Okay, so it's better to have them. Does project sponsor is an investor? Most of the time they can be the investor, but in the big company, not necessarily they are the investor. Project sponsor, not necessary they are the investor, but they are the one has the power to decide how to use the money, how to allocate the money. Okay, how do we define what is big project or what is a small project? So it depending on the company. So the company managers and the company boss will know what type of project is considered as a big project, what type of project is considered as a small project. Most of the time, they depending on the investment amount, how much money they spend. They also depending on the duration. Okay, if it's a big project, it will involve a longer duration. If it's a small project, most of the time it will involve shortened duration. Okay. All right, let's continue with the second part. Okay, the second part is about the data analytic life cycle. So I need you to memorize there are six phases in the data analytic life cycle. The first phase is discovery. The second phase is data preparation or data prep. The third phase is model planning. So you plan, you want to build a supervised model, unsupervised model, and so on. You build the model in the fourth phase, the model building. So you have your training data, testing data, validate data, and so on. Then you build your model. So let's say you build your KNN model, your ANN model, your random forest model, and so on. Then you communicate your result with your boss, to your client, or to other department in your company. And of course, last but not least, you need to operationalize them. So let us discuss one by one. Okay, we start with this one. The sequence is important. For the life cycle, it must start from discovery. I repeat, the sequence is important in the sixth phase of the analytic life cycle. So we start with number one, discovery. In the discovery phase, you learn about the business domain, okay, about the business domain knowledge, and you assess what are the available resources. So can you tell me what are the resources that you have in an analytic project? You can type your answer in the chat box. Just give me one resource each of you. Okay. Data can be considered as one of your resource, correct? Technology, very good. So you need to see whether you have the technology or not. Yeah, I think there's one extra question on top there. Let me see. Financial manager is kind of BS. I think you are trying to ask about the question just now. Okay. Financial manager, depending what type of expertise he or she have. Okay, so financial manager, or I think you are trying to say PS is the project sponsor. Financial manager, it can be one of the project sponsor, but it's not necessary that the financial manager be the project sponsor. It can be one of them. Okay. All right. Let me go back to this. I want to see the answer for the resources. Okay. So technology, yes. Data, yes. Money, of course, the money is your resources. Time, usually we don't really say it is the resources. Tools, yes, tool is your resources. Yes, Zhenfei give a very good answer. The human resources, the people. The people is very important. Without the people, just now we say all the 7 row, right? The 7 row are your resources. Okay, so Zhenfei give a very good answer. Human resource, the people is your resources. Yes, system, correct. System is your resources. Okay, money and cost, that's not already skill, say. Yeah, skill. Skill basically is the people, because the people will have the skill. Okay. Tools, money, the rest are the same. Let me see what else. Policy. Not really. System, yes. Manpower, resources, Su Yuen say, correct. Anything that can enhance the credibility of the data analytic. Yes, but not explicit enough, your answer, because you need to give a more explicit answer. Infrastructure, very good. Salma say infrastructure. Infrastructure is one of the important resources. Okay. All right. So very good. Technology, tool, system, data, manpower, people, these are your available resources. And then you form the business problem. So this is like when you are doing research, you need to have problem statement. During the discovery stage, you build your problem statement and you formulate the hypothesis, okay, for the problems that you define, for the problems that you define. At this discovery stage, it is critical to have a balanced resources. Meaning, let's say you have some expert. Just how we say the seven row are the manpower resources, right? So as I told you, some of the role you need the expertise, the technical expertise. Okay, and some you need the business and management domain expert. So here it is good to have a balanced team. A balanced team means some people have the technical knowledge, some people have the domain expert knowledge. Okay, so it is good to have a balanced team during the discovery phase. The second phase, data preparation. Okay, so do I have enough good quality data to start building the model? Rubbish in, rubbish out. If your data is not a reliable data, you put in the data, how good is your model? It also a useless information. So we need to have a good quality data. You require an analytic sandbox. So this is one of the popular question also. Analytic sandbox is in which phase of the life cycle? Basically, analytic sandbox is in the second phase during the data preparation. Okay, you will have the analytic sandbox. You get your data, you lump your data into the analytic sandbox. So you have high volume, high variety of data. Remember, we talked about how big is big. So you learn about the 5V. You need to have a high volume of data put into the sandbox. You need to have a high variety. Usually you will have a high variety. You will have a high volume of data. You pump them into the analytics sandbox. Then you try to do the analysis and so on. Okay. And phase number 3, data planning. Do I have a good idea about the type of model to try? Can I refine the analytic plan? Of course, you can. Okay, you can keep building the model, find out which one is the champion models and so on. Okay, so you will build it here. This one is you plan first. So you decide what method you want to use. For example, are you going to use supervised machine learning, or are you going to use unsupervised machine learning model? So this part you decide, you discuss, and you decide, you plan what type of model you want to build. what technique you want to use. Okay, are you going to use Python? Are you going to use R programming? Are you going to use like SAS programming and so on? And of course, what are the workflow that you're planning to do? Okay, so you need to decide what is your input variables, what is your output variable. In this stage, you must know your input variable. You must know what is your output variable. Okay, output variable. For example, if I'm talking about employee attrition rate means the employee will leave the company. So my output will be whether they leave the company or they stay in the company. So leave and stay is my expected output. Then what are the input variables that will affect the attrition rate? Can you tell me in the chat box what is the potential input variable that will affect the attrition rate? Attrition rate means they leave the company. Okay, they resign and they leave the company. Attrition. Can you tell me what are the factors that possible affect the attrition rate? Okay, of course, the first one is the salary. Very good. Beside the salary, we have the culture, but culture is not measurable. We need something that is measurable. Job satisfaction, very good. Job satisfaction is measurable. You can give them scale 1 to 10 and then ask them to say whether they satisfied or not satisfied. Benefit is not measurable. Work environment, it is true, but you need to think how to measure it. Aham say boss. Boss is very subjective. You need to give a measurable thing. Bonus, very good. Bonus, we can quantify it. Work-life balance. Work-life balance is good point, but how to measure it? You need to think something that can measure. So salary can measure, bonus can measure. Very good. Fei say working hour. Working hour can measure. Measurable. Yes. Okay. Career goal. You need to give me something that can be quantified. Culture goal, boss. This one cannot be quantified. Okay. The pressure. Pressure, maybe you give them scale 1 to 10, whether you are stressed or you are not stressed, then maybe it's measurable. Okay, salary, satisfaction, promotion, employee contract, competitor. Okay, all these are measurable. Very good. Benjamin give a very good answer. Income means salary. Workplace bullying. Workplace bullying, how to measure it? You need to think some things that you can measure. The risk score. Osama say the risk score. Very good. Employee care, not measurable. Allowance, measurable. Productivity, yes, productivity is measurable. Okay. All right, good trial. I can see some very good answer. Most of you give me good answer, but it is not measurable. You need something that can be quantified. Remember, you need something that can be quantified or it is measurable. Otherwise, you cannot use it in the modeling. Okay, good trial. So now let's look at the phase number 4. In phase number 4, we do our model building. You develop your data set and you build and you execute your model. You can run, for example, if you do supervised machine learning, you build your ANN model, you build your KNN model, you build your random forest model, and so on. So you build all these models and then you find out which model is the champion model in your in the data given to you. So is the existing tools enough? Is the tools given to you sufficient? If it's not sufficient, then how to do? How should you do? So after you build your model, you choose the champion model. How you choose the champion model? Based on the performance measurement comparison. You can compare their model in terms of the accuracy. What else you can compare? tell me in the chat box how to choose the champion model. What is the performance measurement? Beside accuracy, what else I should see when I want to choose the champion model? Can you tell me in the chat box? Okay, error, very good. You can measure the error. We want as small as possible for the error. Okay, and then the execution time, the time and speed for a long time ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the time and the speed is one of the important factor. But now, because of the technology, the time is no longer a very major concern because most of the company, they have quite powerful server and so on to run the analysis. Okay, error, accuracy. Yeah, I'm asking what type of performance measurement besides precision. Very good. F1 score, very good. Precision, F1 score, you can use for measurements. Precision, F1 score. What else? The yield, how to quantify your yield. So the F1 score can quantify the precision, the accuracy can be quantified. Okay. The rest, good trial, but you cannot quantify it. Okay, so performance measurement, how to choose the best model. You can use accuracy, precision, F1 score, and error terms to check RMSE, for example. The RMSE is also to check the error term. All right. Okay, now the phase number 5, communicate the result. So what are the things that we want to communicate? We will communicate the outcome. So just now when I talk about the employee attrition rate, okay, employee attrition rate, my outcome will be how many percent of the people in the company is expected or predicted to be leave the company. So maybe from your analysis, you found out that 30% of the employee in your company, they plan to leave the company. So this is your outcome. So what are the possible best practice? So how can we keep this 30% of the employees so that they keep on stay with us? So some of you say bonus, some of you say incentive just now. So maybe perhaps your boss need to think about it. If you want to keep this 30% of the people with the company, you may need to increase the bonus. You may need to give them some incentive. Just now, you also talk about the working hour, right? One of you say working hour. So you might want to reduce the working hour so that they can stay with the company. So what are the values that these people bring to the company? You also need to discuss about this. If you keep this 30% of people, does they bring value to your company, or you better let them go? Let them go, then you recruit, you hire a fresh grad. Fresh grad, the salary will be lower, but will this fresh graduate bring value to your company? So you need to discuss, you need to communicate all these outcome, best practices, the business value, the implication, the communication channel, how you communicate all this with your boss, how you communicate this finding with your stakeholder. Okay. And of course, phase number 6, you operationalize them. You deliver the report, whether it's in the dashboard, whether it is in the PPT, and so on. So just now, the employee attrition rate, you can build a dashboard. Then you can show the bar chart. So 70% of the people will stay with the company, 30% of the people will leave the company. And then how is the employee satisfaction rate? So those who leave the company, maybe they are not satisfied. Those who stay with the company, their satisfaction level are very high. So this dashboard will able to show up all this information. Okay, so you deliver the report and you give a briefing. Okay, you tell about the code and also the technical document. So basically, this is more on the reporting, the result. You tell your boss, you report to your project sponsor, and so on. Okay, so in this stage, you communicate the result. Okay, now I have one question. If you look at this diagram, you see this diagram, from phase 1 to phase 2, there is one arrow going down. There is also an arrow can going up. So when you find the data got problem, you still can go back and recollect the data and find the correct data and so on. Phase 2 to phase 3, phase 3, you can go back to phase 2. 3, you can go to 4. 4, you can back to 3. So two-way for here, two-way for all, but here, you see from communication result to operationalize, it only have one-way arrow. There is no arrow coming back here. Why? Can you give me the reason in the chat box? Why for phase 5 to 6, there is no double arrow? Can you give me the reason? Okay, so there's a question here. Can we consider operationalize phase as the closing phase where we deliver the report and resources and then close the project? Yes. And why we say it is a cycle? Because you may need to repeat the project if you cannot have a successful project. Okay. So it is a final result before the decision, very close to the answer. The decision already made and the report is already approved. Yes, correct. Outcome is either success or failure. If failure, then redo it is time consuming. Yeah. So basically, it is already done. The decision already made, the report already approved, everything is already executed. So you cannot reverse. You cannot reverse anymore. Okay. So new discovery, model has been executed. Very good answer from Ting Ting. Model has been executed. We cannot change the result. Very good answer. Okay. The project is already operating. Decision made, result out. Okay, Awanti answer is also very good. Okay. Final result is failure. Need to start from beginning, not only one step back, but you need to spend the money again. Okay, so one answer I couldn't find is the money already spent. Okay, remember when you perform your business analytic project, you have the budget. The money already spent. Where if you want to repeat, where to get the money? This is already finished, execute it. So that's why we cannot reverse back. Okay, so this is one of the popular question in the exam. We ask you why cannot reverse here. So just now your friends are already give you a few good answer. Okay, so very good thinking. So let me recap. For the data analytic life cycle, the question can ask you, use the data analytic life cycle to explain one business analytic project. So for example, we can say related to the hotel or related to the hospital or related to the healthcare or related to the tourism. So we can give you one scenario. Then you need to give an example how to go through this data analytic life cycle. So we start from discovery. Discovery, you find out what is the main problem you want to solve. What are the resources that you have? So just now your friend said resources include the data, included the people, including the tools, including the technology, including the system, and so on. And then you do the data preparation in the second phase. So data preparation, you do your data cleaning, data normalization, data transforming, and so on. You will require a data analytics sense box here. Remember, the sense box is here. the safe environment for you to do the testing. Okay, and number 3, model planning. You plan. You want to do a supervised machine learning model, or you want to build an unsupervised machine learning model. What is your input variable? What are your output variable? Okay, what are your input variable? What is your output variable? Okay, you can also do your data exploration, your variable selection, the feature selection. They are at this stage. Okay, and then you build your model in phase number 4. For example, your machine learning model, KNN, ANN, random forest, and so on. You build them during the model building. You have your training data, you have your testing data, and so on. And then after that, you communicate your result. You can use a dashboard, you can do the reporting. You report to your stakeholder, you report to your boss, you report to your client. Number 6, you operationalize them. After you operationalize them, that's when you already execute them. Okay, you do the monitoring, you deliver your report, you do the technical documentation, so that next time when people want to perform similar project, they know what you have done. Okay, so these are the 6 phases. So I think any question you can post in the chat box. Let me check. Step number 6, can't reverse to 5, can understand like the sunk cost in economic term. I am not sure what is this sunk cost. Other students who understand this, can you help to answer their question? Okay, yeah, Dr. Ng may know because he is from finance background. I'm not, I'm statistic background. So you tell me about this sunk cost, I cannot understand. All right. Okay, if you understand about data analytic life cycle, can you give me a smiling face or thumbs up? Okay, very good. I can see many smiling face and also many thumbs up. Very good, meaning you understand it. Okay, sunk cost mean cost that is not being to be retrieved anymore. Lucas said, thank you, Lucas, for sharing. So you see, I also learn from you when I'm teaching. That's why I know quite many of you are data analysts here. So you can also share your experience with us. Okay, very good. I don't want to take too long time. Okay, I repeat for those who came in late just now. The project registration, we will close it at 9 o'clock later. Make sure you fill up your project information. There are a few groups you have not filled up your project information in the, the paper title. Your paper title have not filled up yet for a few groups. So please make sure you fill out. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Just to let you know, I took the initiative to check all their papers.
Okay.
I also highlighted the papers in red. So those papers with red in highlighting, those papers who are highlighted in red, they have to change. If not, it is wrong. It is incorrect.
Meaning they choose the wrong paper, right?
Yeah, they choose the wrong paper.
Oh,
so,
you guys very, very lucky. Dr. Ng helped you to check the paper. Dr. Ng, do you want to share that page?
Yeah, I can share.
So that they know.
So that they will know.
Share? Yeah, you share the screen so that they...
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to share that I checked based on the title and also based on the DOI that you shared. So I checked very quickly, right? I checked on based on the title and also the DOI. So those group with red color font, right? So you have the opportunity to change. So just now Dr. Tan mentioned by 9, right? So I think with the blessing of Dr. Tan, I think we can extend to 11:59 lah. Give them the opportunity to change 11:59.
Okay, so you have another 3 hours after the class today.
Yeah,
you see, Dr. Ng already so kind to check for you. The red color one, you have a second chance to change it. Otherwise, you will get very low mark.
Yes, those, there are so many accepted article, right? So you can actually open the other group's DOI and study why their paper are accepted and why your paper are not accepted. Because I noticed that majority of the students, right, they are able to select the right article. which is good. I think we should be happy, right? Because last time a lot of students selected the wrong article.
Yeah, it's a big improvement now. At least they choose the correct article now.
Yes, okay, maybe I can share a bit of tips, right? Number one, the first thing that you need to understand is there any machine learning model or not? Like what Dr. Tan presented earlier on, right? Is there any data preparation? Is there any model building? If there is no model building, there is no data preparation, if there is no statistical measurements like accuracy, MAE, F1 score, those papers are not accepted. Okay, so take note on that. Your paper must have machine learning models. If there is no machine learning models, the paper will not be accepted. So in that situation, for those groups that has a paper highlighted in red, please change a new paper. You can check the other papers who have been accepted. Okay, I also did it for ODL students. So for those ODL students, you may also take, for those, if you are here, right, you may also take a look. That's all from me. Sorry for interrupting. Well, thanks.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Thank you, Dr. Ng. Dr. Ng, can you move down a little bit? I want to see the last group there. Because I saw there's only one or two students in certain name. So
Yeah,
maybe they want to join other.
I'm thinking if group 78 and 80, you are here, right? I'm suggesting both groups combined to one. Mainly, it is because for the quiz later on, right? It is a group assignment. So if you are doing it alone, it will be a very disadvantage for you.
Yeah,
So for group 78 and 80, if you are here, I would suggest you to combine. You can communicate with each other.
yeah, you better combine, because only three of you and group 80 only one of you. So please combine so that you can do quiz together. What about your group, Dr. Ng group? Can you see
My group
your
so far okay.
okay?
So far
Okay,
okay. Only one or
good.
two missing, so it's fine.
Okay, this one fine.
So
Okay,
probably
Dr.
can group 78 and 80, can you communicate with each other? Because later when we do quiz, the group will be finalized.
The
Okay.
5 mark will be finalized, so we will not repeat the quiz again.
All right. So yeah, that's all from me. Pass it back to you, Dr.
Yeah, I already finished my part, so maybe can give them a 5-minute break to prepare their devices. So make sure you have
Yeah.
one device connect to the internet.
Okay, so please get your devices ready. Then we will do one test run first. Before we go to the actual quiz later. All right. So take a 5 minutes break. We come back 8:25. 8:25.
Okay.
Sharp.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Ng. So student, please prepare your device. We will come back at 8:25. So immediately come back, Dr. Ng will do the testing, one test, and then the one actual quiz. Quiz will contribute 5 marks out of the 100%. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, ODL student, if you want to try to do the quiz, you can also do it. But your mark will not be counted.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah. Now, please take note that this is just a testing. We will do a one-time trial run first before we go to the actual quiz. So please join. I will start this section at 8:27. Yeah. Oh, sorry, 8:28. Right. We will give you 3 minutes to join. So I will start this session at 8:28. Okay, so please join. This is just a testing. Testing. This is just a testing. Uh, if to ensure that you are comfortable with the platform. Then later we'll do the actual quiz. So please join. I'll start in another 2 minutes. There will be a question asking you to put your group number. So you don't have to put the number after your name. There will be a question asking you to put the group number. All right. Okay, 1 more minute, then I will start the quiz here. This is just a testing for information, just a testing. I'll do the actual one later, right? Testing first. Okay, I think we can start. And now another few more seconds. Again, later quiz, not everybody, I mean, not everybody need to join because it is a group assignment. And do not join twice. Okay, because later if the system detected that you join twice, the whole group disqualified. Okay, we will start now. So it is our own pace. You can do using a pace, but I will stop this testing. I'll stop this testing at 8 33, right? 8:33, 5 minutes. You try to do it first. 8:33, I'll stop the session. Then we will start the new one, right? We'll start the actual one. Okay, for those when you have done your trial, any feedback? Is it smooth so far? So Elaine, you have done the trial run, right? So far smooth, huh? Okay, good. This is what I want to hear. Very good. It is smooth, huh? Okay, so once I stop this session, because I think there are still people trying the question. Once I stop this session, I'll explain to you what are you expecting later, right? Okay, there are still people trying. I'll stop in another 2 minutes. Okay. So let's see, another 2 minutes, then I will stop. So okay, for those who have done, please get your please ready for the actual quiz, yeah. Okay, 1 more minute, then I will stop. Yeah, I mean, when I stop the quiz later, you have to re-enter again, re-enter again. But before you re-enter, I will share with you some of the information first, yeah. No, different code, different code. I'll reshare the code again. Okay, I'll stop now. Okay, is it stop over your end? Okay, now regarding the actual quiz, okay, let me share with you again. Regarding the actual quiz, there are 10 questions in total, right? There are 10 questions in total. Similarly, you have your own pace to do the quiz. However, for the whole quiz, it will take about 15 minutes. I will set 15 minutes time for you to do the quiz. So once the 15 minutes time is up, I will end the quiz. All right. And every question, every student will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to do it. Every questions, students will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to do it. All right. And I will stop the quiz after 15 minutes once the quiz is started. Any question so far? Noah? Okay, let me set up first, then I will share with you later.
Hey, doctor.
Yes. Hello? Who is speaking?
Hello, doctor. Can you hear me?
Yes. Anything?
Yes, doctor. So one person will be representing in the group.
Yes. One person represent. No, it's not that one person represent a group. I'm only going to choose the highest score from all the members in the group. You can
Okay,
actually
doctor.
you can actually join once. You cannot. I mean, as long as you have one member joining, right? Then if the
Okay.
member score full marks, then I'll get the full marks.
Okay, doctor. Got it. Thank you.
Yes, and okay, good.
Understood. Understood. Thank you, doctor.
No problem. Okay, I will start the session at 8:37. 2 minutes for you to join. 8:37. I will start the session 8:37. No, the quiz is not for ODL, but you can join if you are from ODL. If you're in the process of joining from conventional to ODL, I believe that you will be in the ODL section, so don't worry, it is fine. But if you want to join, you can join. I think how XY, yeah. It is not compulsory, but you can join. Okay, I'll start in 2 minutes time. Then the quiz will end at 9:02. Okay, 9:02 sharp. No. Yeah. No, the quiz will end at 8:52 sharp. Sorry, 53, 52. Wrong. It should be 8:52 sharp. 15 minutes. Okay, 8:52. I'll start in 1 minute time. So please join. And the quiz will end at 8:52 sharp. 15 minutes given. Yeah, you can refresh your browser, no problem, like what we had done last week. But do you need to refresh your browser using this new way of doing the quiz just now? Have you tried earlier on? Okay, time is up. Time is up. We can start now, right? Okay, I can see a lot of you already done it. I think, if not mistaken, I think about 476 students have done it. So can anyone who has not done it yet, can you please type in the chat box that you need more time? I'll still keep it until 8:50, right? 2 more minutes, because I've noticed that a lot of you have already done it, and I can check the average time per questions. You only taken 30 seconds for each question. So next time I will reduce to 30 seconds, yeah, for each question. Because 1 minute 30 seconds seems like too much, right? I think average time that the students taken for each question is only 30 seconds. Wow, amazing. Means that, Dr. Tan, they understand clearly what you have taught them for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, so shorter time for them, more challenges.
I can also see the statistic. There is one question KO them. I don't know why. Okay, so I'll keep it another. Okay, now for now, okay, of course, we will not punish for efficiency. I'm just joking. Next round, I will still keep it like 1 minute and 1 minute 30 seconds. Don't worry. Okay, this is just a joke. A lot of people take it very seriously. They are begging for mercy. No, 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 no. We will still keep it like what we used to. So theoretical question about 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds. Then calculation question will be longer time. Okay. So who needs more time for this quiz before I end the session? So far, I can see that about, I think around 400, not 490 students have been completed. So I think I can stop the quiz now, 8:50 already. For the answers, I will show it 2 weeks later. For the conventional students, right? Since the quiz for ODR will still be running for 2 weeks, we will post the answer after 2 weeks in the e-learning later. Okay. Of course, remind us if we forget to post. Okay, so I'll end the session now. So I'll pass it back to Dr. Tang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ng. Okay, and okay, very good job. I can see quite many students participates in the quiz. So it's a good sign. So I hope you can get a good result. We still have another 10 minutes. I would like to share 2 more slides before we ending the session. And because I think this will be quite useful for you to understand about the analytics sandbox. Okay, so in the real world, when we do the data preparations, okay, especially during the data analytics sandbox, these 2 terms are used very frequently. So I want to tell you, because I don't want later when you go out and working outside, people talk about ETL and ELT, you don't know what is this mean. Okay, ETL standing for extract, transfer, load. Okay, extract, transfer, load. Let me type it down. Extract, transform, load. Okay, and ELT, the other way around, it means extract, load, and transform. Okay, extract, load, and transform. So let's see what are the differences between these two. So you look at this diagram by spread them this way. Okay, split them this way. Sorry, split them this way. Okay, so ETL, you extract first, then only transform, then only you load it. So if you look at this diagram, okay, sorry, I need to close this one blocking me. Okay, if you look at this diagram, this circle represents different type of data. So when you do extract first, then you transform them. You see, when you transform this one, when you transform them, they arrange into structure form. Your data become a structured data. Blue color arranged with blue color, and then dark blue with dark blue, yellow with yellow, and from big circle until small circle. So from unstructured data, this one is represent unstructured data. You transform it, it becomes structured data. DWH represent data warehouse. Okay, data warehouse. Okay, so you extract the data, you transform it, become structured data, then you load your data to do the analysis and reporting. This is happening in the analytics sandbox. Okay, what about extract, load, then only transform? So extract, after you extract it, you straightforward load it into your data lake. So when you load it, you did not arrange them into a structured data. This is unstructured data. Here, it is still unstructured data. You see different type of data. Let's say yellow is the text data. Light blue is the picture data. Okay, the diagram data. And maybe the blue color is the voice message. So all this information, we don't arrange them. We don't structure them. We load all the unstructured data into your data lake. After you extract the data, you straightforward load into your data lake. So data lake is a more recent term compared to the data warehouse. So in the following chapter, I will explain to you the differences between data lake and data warehouse. So as for now, you need to understand that for data warehouse, all the data are structured data. For data lake, we don't care whether we are going to use the data later or not. Whatever data we have, all the unstructured data, semi-structured data, we load into our data lake. Later only we decide we want to use it or not. For data warehouse, we make it into a structured form because most of the time we already know we want to use it. So in the data lake, only when you want to use it later, then you do the data transformation. So you see the differences between them. You extract them, both also you extract them. And then for data warehouse, you will transform them into a structured way. Then only you load the data for the analysis. For the lakehouse, after you extract it, you load everything unstructured, semi-structured data into your data lake. You don't know whether you are going to use it later or not. You just keep everything first. Your thinking is, whatever I have, I keep it first. I don't know whether I'm going to use it or not. Sometimes more than half of the data, you actually will not use it. Then after you want to use it, then only you do the transformation. Okay, now I have question for you. I want to know whether you understand this or not. This question come out a few times in the final exam. This question came out a few times in the final exam. ETL. So just now I say ETL is for the, let me type this, data warehouse. Okay. ELT is for the data lake. Wait, why I can type? Okay, data lake. Okay, so ETL, the data is a structured data. ELT, the data is unstructured data. Unstructured means you have text, you have image, you have video, you have sound, and so on. Okay, this one is a very structured data. Now, which one need more time? Which one need less time? Compare between these two. Okay, let me ask you for less time. Okay, I put this as 1, this as 2. ETL, data warehouse, compared to data lake, which one need less time? Can you type your answer in the chat box? Either 1 or 2. You type your answer in the chat box. Less time, less time mean it is faster. Less time mean it is faster. Which one is faster? Wow, why I have 2 different answers? Half of the student answer 1, half of the student answer 2. Okay, Paul Yi-Ling say more processing time for ETL, less processing time for ELT. Correct. Okay, that is the correct answer. So the correct answer is this one, you need more time, ELT. This one, you need less time for processing, which means it is faster. Why we say this? Okay, why we say this? Because this one, remember just now I say you need to make it become structured data. Then only you can load into DWH, data warehouse. So your processing time will be longer. So this one is slower. I put slower, easier for you to understand. Okay, slower. Slower means you need more time. Faster means you need less time. So the correct answer is slower is for ETL. Okay, now let's look at the second question about infrastructure. Which one have more rigid infrastructure and which one has more dynamic infrastructure? So I want to ask about rigid first. So let me put this as 3, this one as 4. Data warehouse is more rigid or the data lake is more rigid? I want 3 and 4. Why I got 1 as my answer? 3 or 4 is more rigid. This one is very consistent answer. Very good. Okay, very good. The data warehouse is more rigid. It only can accept structured data. Okay, and it has a very limited scalability. You need to have a warehouse. You need to have a physical infrastructure. For example, if you put your server, let's say if your server, you need to have a place to put your server. So your infrastructure is very rigid. Whereas for data lake, most of the time we are actually using cloud. So cloud is very dynamic. You don't need a specific space to put your cloud. Cloud, you can just subscribe it online, right? You subscribe it online, so you don't need a physical infrastructure there. So it is more dynamic. Okay. ELT, data lake, is more dynamic. Data warehouse, it is more rigid. Okay. Now, let's look at the last one. The last one in terms of cost. Okay. All right. So in terms of cost, which one has lower cost? So let me put this as 5, this one as 6. Wait, don't let me finish my sentence first. For cost. So if I am talking about the cost, which including like the server cost, the maintenance cost, the computing cost, the storage cost. Okay. So which one has a lower cost? 5 or 6? Majority of you say 6. A few, very few person answer 5. Okay, majority is 6. Only very few say 5. Yeah, I know it's time's up. You just give me a few minutes. Okay, so very good answer. Majority of you answer it correctly. ELT, low cost, and ETL, the data house one, is higher cost. Okay, so why ETL is more expensive? As I told you just now, you need a physical place to put it. For example, your server. Your server, you will need the maintenance fee. Your server, you will need the server fee. Okay, and so this will be more expensive compared to the ELT, which is the cloud. You are using the cloud, so you don't really need a place to put your server and so on. Okay, so this is the differences between them. All right, so very good answer. Okay, I have to stop here. It's already 9:02 and some of you already complained in the chat box. Okay, so I hope this will end our session. So majority of you answer it correctly. Very good. Okay, so if you have question, you can post in the chat box. I will listen to you. If there's no more question, you can leave the group. Thank you very much, everyone, for your participations, and good night. Bye-bye. Welcome. Hidayah, Dr. Ng say after 2 weeks, because we still have ODL student haven't complete it. Okay, I will off the session now. Bye-bye, everyone.